My name is Joe Price. I'm the director of the BYU Record Linking Lab, and this video will show you how you can find your family in Puerto Rico, and also how you can help other people find their family who lived in Puerto Rico. So I run a research lab at BYU. We have about 50 amazing undergraduate students that work in the lab, and they work on projects related to computer vision, natural language processing, and record linking. And really our goal is to try to convert any historical record into linkable data that can be used for research and to help people find their family. And we were particularly drawn to doing a project in Puerto Rico. And the reason for this is that we discovered, as we were working with the 1910 US Census, that very few of the families in the 1910 census in Puerto Rico were on the family tree. To give you some context, over 60–70% of people in other states in the United States were on the family tree, but it was very low for Puerto Rico. So this was back in September 2020. And so for the last year, we have been looking for ways to help grow the family tree. And now the coverage for the family tree for the 1910 census for people who are part of a family, so think of this as a head, spouse, son, or daughter, is now 98%. So let me show you how we did this and how it'll help you find your family and how you can use it to help other people. So the starting point is a record in the 1910 census. So you can see here at the bottom, this is what the handwritten record looks like. And this record has been already transcribed. And so you can see here is a person in the record. This is right here, Maria. You see Maria Rodriguez y Hernandez de Santeliz, and this is her information. And then these are the other people in her household. So the starting point was to just check to see which of these people were already in the family tree. And so we ran some statistics using some match files that tried to match records to profiles in the family tree. And this is how we were able to determine that only about 3% of the people were on the family tree and attached to the census. And so what we would do is we would look for families in which that fell into kind of two categories. One was a family where maybe Pedro was on the tree, or maybe Trinidad, but the other people weren't. And so for those, we created record hints in which someone could attach this record to Pedro, and as they attached the record, they would be able to add the other family members to the tree. We also found families in which nobody in the family was on the family tree, and we created an add family tool that would add the head of household to the family tree and attach the census, and then add the spouse and attach the census and do the same thing for each of the children in the family. So this is how we were able to get these families onto the family tree. And you can think of them when they first get added to the tree as a little twig. They're an isolated family just sitting there on the family tree. But then what will happen is you can take each of the people in that family and start to look for other records that they might show into. So this is that family we were looking at. You can see the father, his wife, and then the 4 kids. And notice that by using other records, you can then find Pedro's father and Pedro's mother, and then maybe from Pedro's mother, you can find her father and her mother. And so what we're doing is you start with a twig, and then that twig starts to connect out, and those twigs become branches, and those branches kind of grow into a full-fledged tree that has all of the nice properties of having good coverage and also being very interconnected. And so you can actually access these people that are now on the family tree by searching a record collection in the 1910 US Census, and you can look for a particular location. So here's Aguada, and so if you go into Aguada, then you can look up your family's surname. So if you know where your family's from and their surname, you can look them up in the record. And then over here on the right, you'll see a little pedigree icon. And if you click on that, that'll take them to their profile on the family tree. So if you want to see how good the coverage is, just go to Aguada or Utado or one of the other places, and you can see that almost every single person has one of these pedigree icons. And in fact, Puerto Rico used to have the lowest coverage rate of any of the locations in the United States, and it's now jumped right to the front. I was really happy to see when it passed Utah. So Utah's always had really high coverage rates on the tree, along with Idaho, and now Puerto Rico's kind of jumped right into that top spot. And so what this means is you take families with children and you ask, which of these people is on the family tree, And so this is telling you that 98% of people who are living as part of a family that included a child are now on the family tree. Okay, even higher than Utah. So it's kind of fun. Now here's how you can use this to find your own family in Puerto Rico. So first thing is set up a free FamilySearch account, and then add in what you know about your family and try to get back to someone who was alive in 1910. And so as you're adding people to the tree, some of them will be living, so you'll just add living people to the tree. And then once you start to get to people who are deceased, then you might start to connect to other people that are already on the family tree. And as you connect with those people, your family tree will just start to fan out. And then at that point, you can attach additional records, upload photos, and look for other people that you can connect with. And then try to invite other people to do the same. The family tree is a shared tree that all of us are part of. And really the value of that tree increases as more people use it, because as more people use it, we start to discover more and more connections with each other. Now, if you want to help other people find their family in Puerto Rico, then we have some tools that we've set up that will allow you to provide this type of service to allow other people to find their family. So this is our customized hints app. We sometimes call it the map app, but here's the URL that you can use for it. And notice here there's two search fields. The top one allows you to search by surname. The bottom field allows you to search by place. So notice that as I start to type Puerto Rico, there's a drop-down menu that has some of the locations in Puerto Rico. And if I pick one of those locations, it will take me to the map app, or to a set of dots that represent families that you could work on. And you can use the hint that the map app provides as a starting point to try to grow out that family so that that twig turns into a branch and helps connect into the tree. So this is what it'll look like over here when you click on a place. Is you'll see a bunch of dots, and if you click on one of those dots, you'll see a surname and a location. And if you click on that, it'll take you right into SourceLinker. And if you've never used SourceLinker before, you can Google FamilySearch SourceLinker, and there's some great videos online to show you how to use it. Or you could invite a family history consultant to come and help you use SourceLinker. SourceLinker is a way on FamilySearch for you to connect records to profiles in the family tree. And many of these records in this app will allow you to add new people to the family tree. Now, once you feel comfortable attaching records, you can start with easy ones and then move on to medium ones and then to hard ones, depending on your experience level. Once you've done some of these, you might try other ways to help make the tree better and more connected. One of these tasks is possible duplicates. This is when there's two profiles in the family tree that might represent the same person, and you need to make a decision about whether they should be merged or not. Again, this is something if you haven't done before, you can invite a family history consultant or someone with experience with family history to show you how to do that. There's another one in which we connect families, and that just means you start with a twig and you try to add other family members to that twig and try to branch that twig out until it connects to other twigs or connects into bigger branches and trees. And then finally, there's people for which we don't have a death date yet, and so you can search for a death date for them. Finding death dates is a really great way to discover possible duplicates on the family tree. And death dates also help you connect to cemetery records, death certificates, or other records that can share a lot of information about your family. So if you'd like to help with this project, you can access this Google form to sign up. So bit.ly/Puerto-Rico-volunteer, or you can just scan this QR code with your phone. And you might, and so this will be a way for you to be involved in the project, and we can share updates with new tasks as they become available, or ways that you could work with your community to get involved and maybe do a service project for a particular town in Puerto Rico. And we also invite you to reach out to those you know with family connections in Puerto Rico and see if they would like to see their family on the family tree. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation. We hope you find ways to connect with your family if you have family from Puerto Rico, or that you reach out to those you know with family in Puerto Rico and help them see more about their family. We're really excited to see Puerto Rico become a place for which every single person is on the family tree, and all of the connections have been created so that people can have the amazing discovery experiences that we've experienced in Utah for a long time. I really think Puerto Rico is going to be this place where lots of connections will be made possible through the family tree.